and welcome to Rainy Tuesdays podcast, a podcast by friends for friends. I don't think we've said that in a while. I'm Ryan, and I'm here with Adam.
Hello.
And Margot.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty all right, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you guys up to anything fun? I know both of you have breaks coming up. Any adventures you're going on?
I'm gonna start apartment hunting
Woo!
in Chicago.
He's a Chicago man now.
Not yet,
Chicagan,
still a
if
few
you
months
will.
away.
He's literally already there as we speak.
Yeah, I'm living next to the Bean. Just gonna put a house down
Inside the Bean.
and be like Carl from Up.
Wait, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Did you feel threatened when New York got its own bean?
It's not as good.
I didn't know New York got its own
It's
thing.
not as good because we
okay.
didn't know about it.
Yeah, I've never heard about it, so it can't be as interesting.
I was like just last month. But okay. I didn't know. I needed to get Chicagans' opinions.
It's irrelevant. Not even on the map.
Well, it's on
Yeah,
AMAP.
I think I prefer our bean.
Yeah.
Well, yours is like it's like the point of an area, whereas the New York one seems like it was kind of thrown on a street
Yeah,
corner.
it's kind of like in a random corner. It looks
Yeah.
very like it's pushed to the ground.
It's a sad bean.
Yeah.
A refried bean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Same artist though.
yeah. That's the inside scoop. There you have it. Chicago doesn't care. These two men who both officially speak for all of Chicago. Alrighty. I don't know. Anything else fun? Before we move on?
I'm not doing anything.
Midterms.
fun, so. Yeah, I just had midterms. I'm applying for jobs. Stressed. You know,
Oh, woo!
the usual.
A party. Fair enough. I like it. All right, that's normal. I have no other questions. Do you guys want to play Mind Meld?
Sure.
I'm going right into mind mode, yeah.
I just don't know what else to do. Once again, Mind Meld is a game where I stress my friends out by making them think, and try to think the same. So I'm gonna say a word, and then I'll say 1, 2, 3, and you guys will say a word.
It's this one again.
Yeah, you'll say a
Ah.
word related to that, and it'll try to be the same word as each other. I don't care about repeats in words.
When we get tired, just stick to one word.
I presume that'll
Have a safe
happen.
word.
Yeah.
Okay, what's our safe word? Anyway. Alrighty. Psychology. 3.
Science. Oh, sorry.
2,
I'm a little rusty at this game. Science.
I was also thinking science. Does that mean we win?
Ooh, we
yeah,
did
you
it.
guys won. Notebook. 3, 2, 1.
Pencil
Movie?
Okay.
Isn't there a movie called Notebook?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
notebook.
with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. So then now you guys take pencil and movie and try to think of a word that connects those two words.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Script.
Script.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Professionals.
Oh my god.
You know what? We practiced. We had a less than stellar performance last time, but we hit the grindstone
Yeah.
and came out better for it.
Every Sunday
Like,
night, Adam
without
and I are
me.
on here.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Family. 3, 2, 1.
Brother.
Sister. I couldn't think of anything. I
Sister.
didn't want to say the same.
3, 2, 1.
Family.
Parents.
Okay. Family and parents. 3, 2, 1.
Siblings.
Sibling.
You guys got too cocky.
Mhm.
All right. Snow. 3, 2, 1.
Flake.
Winter.
Flake in winter. 3,
Who did
2,
just say snow?
1.
Snow.
Snow? I know you suggested snow, but it was the only word I was thinking of. So
Mhm.
Fair enough. Okay, room. 3, 2, 1.
Hallway.
stealing.
Stealing?
Ceiling.
Oh, I heard stealing, and I was like, why is your first thought thievery? Okay, ceiling and hallway. 3, 2, 1.
Floor.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
I say
Too
let's
good.
end it there. Yeah. And
We're
on
too
a
good.
high note. Oh man. Well, that's been Mind Meld. I think that's a fun little game. I don't know. All right. I guess to get into the meat of the episode.
You know, actually, we were so good at that. It's almost like this segment was written by artificial intelligence, and that's today's topic: artificial intelligence.
There it goes.
I don't know.
No, that was perfect.
We threw our intro into Chat GPT, and that's what we were given. So
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, we did not do that.
So, I am not a woman in STEM. And I don't understand AI. So I have questions and concerns and thoughts.
Who does understand AI?
I do.
Not even AI. Okay. But yeah, so I like thought about this because I mentioned before the episode I got this little notification from Snapchat and it was like, meet your new AI best friend. And I was like, excuse me? And I was like, this is getting crazy. Even Snapchat has an AI feature on it. Like, what's going on? And so I thought we should talk all about artificial intelligence today.
So are we talking about these like AI chat things or AI like generators, like AI art is kind of big in the news?
Yeah.
Or I suppose a
think
little bit less big in the
talk about
news
both.
now, but because
I think-
I am strongly against AI art.
I am too.
And because there's AI like writing as well, and
Mhm.
same with that.
Yeah.
AI arts plural.
Right.
Strongly against.
Fair. Yeah, I have questions, but also like just along that line, I guess what are everyone's thoughts on AI in general, other than just like against AI arts, which
It's
I fully
great.
agree
No
with.
notes. No, I'm for AI art.
Okay, fair.
It's gonna get to the point where we can't tell the difference.
Which
And
is
it's gonna
why
be
I'm
sooner
against
rather than
AI
later.
art. I think it's almost there already, which
Yeah.
is why it's so scary to me and why I'm so against it, because
Yeah.
it's going to replace, like, there's a very good video called Humans Need Not Apply, which discusses how all of human jobs are going to be replaced by robots. And people who advocate this say that that's fine, because then humans can go pursue more creative activities that they would not be able to do because they have to work some stupid 9 to 5.
Mhm.
But if those creative activities are also taken by AI, which they now are, then what's left for humans to do?
We become
Nothing.
the humans
And
in
so
WALL-E.
the only humans who become profitable are the people who own all these corporations, and the world is bad.
Yes.
Or worse. Yeah, I think it freaks me out. I like to I'm not like too old fashioned in the sense of like I won't keep my notes on computers because the robots are coming to get me. I don't believe that. I'm just saying I don't like it. It creeps me out a little that it's like because isn't it the whole thing that like AI teaches AI teaches AI teaches AI to the point where like
Sorta.
people don't even fully understand the fully evolved thing of AI?
Yes and no, not
Okay.
really. I think there's a lot of like people making that to be like, oh, this AI is sentient. It's like, no, there is no sentient AI. And
Mhm.
like
Not yet.
the way people code it is essentially what it is just think of it as like an averaging system.
Okay.
You put in all this data and it creates an average from all that data and creates different like labels for that data.
Mhm.
So for example, like AI art, like it will like you'll give it a piece of art to like add as data, and from there we'll create different labels, whether that's based off color, like what kind of style and all that. And then when you ask it to put something, it will reference all those labels and it will
Right.
choose that data and then
Combine
all
it.
that group of data, average it out. It's literally like you can see it step by step, where it'll just throw
Yeah.
a collage of photos in and then just blur the image and then unblur it, and then like until you get something that looks like art.
Fascinating. And like I know that like a big argument against that is like it's stealing like the source work of like actual like human art, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like then those artists aren't being like credited or anything. Like
Yeah.
it's
Which
just like
is, I will say, as anti-AR as I am, I don't think that's the best argument.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's also
It's almost
not
like
something.
it's like it is adding all these things to like its database,
yeah.
but it's like inspiration almost.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
artists look at other art and are but it's not, because some people will say it's copyright infringement
Mhm.
because you're like taking the art into the database, but it's like
Yeah.
it's like analyzing it, like Ryan was saying, analyzing it for data
Like
sets.
right.
Yes.
So it's not really copyright infringement.
The other issue
Good to know.
too is that's not an issue with AI art, because the
Mhm.
reason like they've gotten all this is like all this stuff is put into a database. It's like the same database that Google and Bing use for it, like their images and stuff.
Mhm.
And the issue is that database is like giving out that like information to people. And so
Okay.
like there's a big lawsuit right now with Getty Images because a lot of their images are in that database that shouldn't, because all those images are copyrighted by Getty, which is why they have
Right.
like that little watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I like Getty Image because I used to live in Gettysburg and I like to think that it's owned by Gettysburg. It's not, but every time I see it, I'm like, oh, Gettysburg. Look at you. Anyway.
I think Getty Images is kind of a monopoly.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know what? If anyone can make a good dent against AI, it'd be
Yeah.
them. So
That's the other thing too, because their lawsuit's a little bogus from what I understand, because there are lots of images out there that like, so the reason it started is because like some of these AI generators, you can like input like a picture of flowers with the Getty image watermark, and it will try to like recreate the Getty image watermark, but it can't really do that perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, the only reason you guys were able to include that is because you've been taking stuff from like our photos. And it's like,
Yeah.
maybe, or also like there are just tons of random photos that maybe
Yeah.
aren't copyrighted by you that have that image on it.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, that's not the AI's fault, it's the database's fault.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know all the full logistics of the legality with that, but
The kind of hard part is there needs to be legislation. Like
And there's
what's
not.
helpful
Yeah.
is what is made by AI art can't be copyrighted because it's
Mhm.
not made by a human,
Yeah.
which is a fun fact.
Yeah.
But it also can't, like, you can't fight against it for infringing on copyright because it's not doing that either.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I think too is I don't know how you would legislate it, and definitely with our current government,
yeah, there
will be no legislation. Like they
No.
don't know
No.
what they're doing. And like the other thing too,
And this is very confusing, so it's hard to
Yes,
legislate
it develops so quickly, and how do you even regulate it? Like, let's say you do take down like all the ones that exist right now, new ones can just be created.
Easily. Yeah.
The other thing too
Um,
is there's no AI like unlearning. That's not really a thing. You can't tell it like, oh, don't unlearn that.
Forget
You'd have to
that,
create
right.
something completely new,
mhm.
because it creates its own like training database. Instead of like you writing code by code for what it does, it creates its own sort of neural network of
So
how
that's
it
the
will
thing
work.
where the AI like teaches the AI essentially, right?
In a
Like-
way, it's not really that. It
right.
just
But like,
creates a collection of
Mhm.
databases, and once it's in the database, you really can't remove it, because there's
Okay.
no like quantifiable way to just be like, oh, I'm gonna pick that out. Like that just doesn't. It's all
Yeah.
together.
uh-huh.
And so there's no way to unlearn, which I think will confuse a lot of like politicians and stuff about it. Oh, it's like, oh, well, just don't do that. The
Right.
other thing
It's
you
like-
bring up, Adam, of like you can't copyright AI artwork, but it is a tool, and I wonder where we'll get to the point of you'll have an artist that's like
using
just generates
Yeah,
it, but then adds
that's-
something, and then is that its own work?
I think that'll be the debate because it's like, well, you do put in prompts to
Yeah.
get the art you want.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
yeah, and is it a tool? Because
if you,
I'm
like, add your
anti
name to
AI,
the
I would
corner,
say no. But
Is that
yeah,
yours? Yeah.
Well, like
Uh-huh.
as soon as you're like adding things in, that becomes a much more complicated thing, right? Because
if
then
all
it
you're
is
doing is signing it, like
well,
you're
not the signing
adding-
it, but like let's say you like draw a flower on top of the image, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's a new argument because that's
Yeah.
both your own original work and this AI thing.
but the people who are using it is not artists. So
No,
they
I
would not be
know.
doing that. It's just tech bros.
Mhm.
Ooh. Okay, so next question. What about the ones where it's like generating pictures of people? And this has been used in nasty ways, which we don't need to get into the specifics of. But all I'll say is that if there's a lot of pictures of a specific person A online, then like AI can generate more revealing pictures of person A, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
deep fake type stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, like how does that fall into like the like legislation argument, I guess.
So that's another thing too. You can try
Mhm.
to legislate against that,
Yeah.
but I don't really know how you would do that. Because the
Mhm.
other thing too, what's tricky with like all these different, especially like with pornography,
Yeah.
is it's very hard to legislate because you can be like, okay, we're gonna take down this, and this website. I know
Right.
one of the southern states is now like you have to register in order to use Pornhub.
That'll work.
In order to like get
Good
access
luck.
if you're over 18.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, people are just gonna use other sites then.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like a porno. There's like more than
Go
just
to
Pornhub,
good old fashioned
like,
bookstores.
It's just one of those things. It's hard to regulate against. Say like, no, this can't be a thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know what you would do in that scenario.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like,
go on.
I was gonna say, like, there's new laws all the time regarding, like, especially pornography. Like, I know that revenge porn is like something that's gotten a lot of legislation within our lifetime. So like, it's not unheard of to create new like laws as technology advances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious about it because it's also like it's technically not their body, but it's like supposed to be, and I'm just curious how that works.
Yeah.
You know?
The other thing too is like with revenge porn, like there's a lot of laws against it, which is good. But even still, it's like one of the ways it operates is like if you spot it or know it's on a website, you can request on that website, and the website has to take it down.
Right.
But I mean, you could have the same thing, but also the image is still out there, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the same thing with like these AI generated videos.
Yeah. I don't know. What were you gonna say, Adam?
Just my legislative solution is to ban them.
Yeah, fair.
Just description of what they are and not allowed.
Sure.
Then you can just play whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they gotta make the whole reason they're being made is for profit. So it's not like drugs where it's hard to do that. It's like this is an established entity that supposedly probably has servers and you know, like easier to go after.
I think the problem is because like you can ban them, but it's almost sort of like the thing of international. So have you guys ever heard of LibGen?
No. What is this?
Oh, so, wait. Yes.
With all the free books?
Yes.
So that is a Russian-run website. And as much as the U.S. has tried to take it down, they cannot.
Interesting. Okay.
And you're sort of running into a similar problem here with these like pornographic websites because they're being run in different countries that have different laws. And so like the U.S. can only do so much.
Yeah.
And so if we were to outright ban it here, people would just move to different websites.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It sucks. There definitely needs to be some legislation to at least attempt to fix the issue because it's pretty bad right now.
Absolutely.
And it's way too easy to do.
100%. And it's like gross. And it's not just influencers, it's unfortunately kids. And that's sad. And that's, you know, icky. We don't stand.
I don't think this is on the podcast, but I think I was telling you guys. I am part of the Drake Law Review Academic Journal. And one of the articles we posted was about, and it has a name, but I don't remember it, like child pornography, where they put either a real child's face or an AI generated child's face onto an adult body.
Yeah.
And the legal question was like, is that child pornography? Because it's not a child's body,
Right.
but in some cases it is a child's face.
Yeah.
So, like there is this really disturbing one where this like grandfather had his granddaughter's
Ugh.
gross.
Yeah.
But it is this like weird question with these kind of
figuring out. Yeah.
When you're putting someone's face onto other images for revenge porn and all these things, is that the same? Because it's not pictures of them, but it sure does look like it. So,
but like,
and
my
courts have
thing
come out
is-
differently on the child porn thing. So,
yeah, I don't know. Like, just not necessarily legally speaking, like strictly like morally speaking, like you know the intention of what that image is supposed to like
yeah.
give, you know? And so it's like I think that it's like morally wrong and like,
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
yeah. Well, no, like it's just that there's like a lot of gray area with morality, and I think that that's not one. I think it's like there's
This
like
seems pretty clear cut morally wrong.
there is a like clear like use for a photo like that, and it's gross. It's disgusting. It's not okay. So hot takes, I know, but I think that it's interesting when you get to something like that in the law, because it's like, yeah, it's not full blown, I guess, because it's like the body is not a child's, but it's still pretty clear what that's supposed to mean. Yeah. Anyway, I have other questions about AI. Chat GPT 1. What does GPT stand for?
Global
Generated
positioning.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Brains.
Territory.
Oh, okay.
Or is it generated?
Generative pre-trained transformer.
Trains was in there.
Transformer, not train.
No, we said pre-trained.
That's right.
Train.
I did say that. Transformer.
Transformer. Oh my god, could you imagine a train transformer?
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Pretty cool. No, but okay. What exactly is it? Is it just like
it's
explain,
not
please.
necessarily a chatbot. Here's the way I think of it. So all of these AI things, and I think my big issue with the pushback against it is people are like, no, these things need to go away. And that's just unrealistic, because these things are here to stay.
Yeah,
and it's not like we need to stop these things, it's we need to adapt to these things.
Okay.
Especially with like AI art, where people are like, oh, it's bad, like this isn't real art. Like you can always tell. It's like, yeah, you can tell that now, but in 6 months from now, you're not gonna be able to tell.
I mean, I've already seen, like, you'll see AI art that seems vaguely characteristic of AI art, but it's really hard to. It is already hard to tell.
There's some of it just like,
there's a game online that's like AI art versus real art, and you really can't tell.
A subreddit that banned a guy for AI art, and it was just his own art. It wasn't AI because they couldn't tell.
Yeah.
That's such a bummer.
Interesting too, because right now the biggest thing is like hands they're having issues with, but they're already starting to make developments of like trying to figure out hands.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with it, like I said, it's a tool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, this is a little bit before all of our times, but when like digital art started becoming a thing, like people were like, oh, this wasn't real art. Like, oh, this is not actual art.
Absolutely still judge digital art, which like I do a good amount of digital art, and people like, some people are like, could you actually like hand draw it and then like import it in? And it's like, I'm using my hands and my computer, like it's not that different. But yeah,
I think it's sort of a similar thing with that, where it's like, yes, this is art, it's just not human made, and also like it is a tool. You can use this tool to like help cut down on like the tedious parts of art, like coloring things and stuff. Like you could create your own version of this, and like there are different versions out there where you can like give it your own data, and it can like help learn your style,
right?
Which I think is interesting. Like that's the thing, is it is a tool, and it is going to be the point of like, I don't know, it'll just be a new type of art is what's going to be,
right? And so like my thing about it is specifically the phrase using it like as a tool, right? Because like Grammarly is a pretty popular like extension that you can have, and it's an AI like program
Yeah.
that just like it checks your grammar, it checks your spelling, it checks everything like that in your writing, and that is like what I think of as like a tool, right? But then like I've seen this like comparison. This is not like an original thought, but like people using like Chat GPT to like write an essay versus people using Grammarly, and it's like Grammarly is people using AI as a tool to like, you know, improve their writing and to teach them grammar and everything like that. Whereas if you like have AI fully write an essay for you, that's not you using a tool that's like, you know.
I would argue that it is. So here's one way to look at ChatGPT.
Okay.
ChatGPT is essentially just a better Google. Like if
Uh-huh.
you ask it a question, like people use it for homework now, and that's like a whole big thing of like cheating and stuff, and people
Mhm.
using it for essays. We actually had a class where we had an exam. We asked the professor if we could use it, and like it's scarily good how good it is, especially because like a lot of engineering stuff is like sometimes pretty high level. It
Mhm.
knows like the right answers very easily,
Right.
but as versus where if you were to put that question into Google, it would take it a second and you'd have to do some like more searching. It's
Mhm.
just better at labeling things, better at classifying things, and better at giving you results. Yes, you can do
Right.
stuff like you can have it write stories, you can have it write essays,
Mhm.
and it really just depends on the prompts you put in. Like
Okay.
sometimes you'll put in an essay and it'll be like, oh, that wasn't very good. But like if you know what words to use, if you know what length, what kind of like
Yeah.
different descriptions you want to put in, you can like get really great results with it. But it is a
Mhm.
tool at the end of the day.
Okay. Fair. I don't know. And what are your thoughts on like the because that's not
I don't know. I
yeah.
feel like I always come back to it just replacing
Yeah,
humans, and that it is a tool, but not for artists. It's a tool for people wanting to replace artists with a cheaper option to just get rid of that industry.
yeah,
So it's like it, it's a tool for these people. It's like, yeah, you can pay $5 and you get like 30 artworks of that look kind of similar, but
mm-hmm.
or you can pay one person $200 for
For
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just like, I don't know. I don't, I can't see artists using it as it stands right now. Maybe what you said of like maybe coloring,
Mm.
um, but I don't know. As it stands now, it's just replacing jobs,
yeah,
and so I don't see it changing soon, or at the very least, I see it killing the industry before the industry can adapt to make it useful for them,
yeah,
unless something happens to radically change how it works.
mm-hmm.
Which is a thing I was going to bring up of like, it's kind of trendy, and I think it's interesting to compare this to NFTs. And I feel
Oh,
like
okay.
NFTs are the precursor to this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
At least
NFTs
it being in the
were
public eye. Yeah.
and a very like tech bro way of looking at the world and how it
Right.
should work and how you
Yeah.
can make money off of these tech and AI stuff. But NFTs were fundamentally useless and
Yeah,
you couldn't do anything with them. Whereas that's not true with AI art and AI
Right.
ChatGPT and whatever. So it's like it is trendy and very tech bro-y to be doing
yeah,
this right now. And that changes rapidly. But this one is more threatening than NFTs ever were because
yeah.
they were doomed from the
Absolutely.
start.
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is very young, and there's definitely a lot more where it can go.
Yeah.
And as far as how it's going to affect people's jobs, such as like journalists and like writers, I don't
I
know how it will be.
I literally interviewed with a like writing company 2 weeks ago. And in the interview, they asked me, how do you think you can compete with AI articles? And I was like, that's a question? That's something I have to think about now? And it was like mildly insulting.
The
I
other
was like,
thing
I don't know.
too
I'm a
is
fucking
like,
thing.
especially like ChatGPT, it's very good at citing
Yeah.
like where its sources are, and
Yeah.
so you can easily double check it, especially with like homework. if you're like, I don't know if that's right, you can ask it to cite sources, and it will provide you with the link of where it found that information, like, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can do the same thing with like articles of like where it's getting this information from and compiling it all together.
Yeah.
So if you're like, oh, that doesn't sound right, you can take that part out.
Sure.
It's great for writing emails. That's what I like it for.
Fair enough.
I do hate writing emails.
Okay. Wait. Oh, go on.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can also play around with it a lot bit because it's got a ton of safeguards. It is very safe. Like, you can't say anything negative. You can't say anything derogatory. Like, you can't swear or put like any slurs in it, which is good. It's interesting too because like we had a question about like cybersecurity and hacking, and it was like, this program cannot be used to like hack, and so it like completely shut that down. But I'll be interested to see how this affects like people in school.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no way to like really ban it. I guess you could like block it on the Wi-Fi, but people could still just use hotspots. It's really good at answering questions.
Yeah. I saw this thing. I don't know if it's true or not because I saw it on one video on the internet, and that doesn't mean it's verifiable. But it was basically saying that like Turnitin now checks for like use of ChatGPT.
Yeah, but they can't figure that out.
Okay.
They say it, but they can't figure it out. Gotcha.
Turnitin is kind of trash anyways.
It is. Turnitin's not very good. I think Turnitin like scammed the education industry, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just put in an article, like every single essay I've ever written has been 100% my own work. But if I throw it in Turnitin, it'll be like, oh, you're like 50% plagiarized. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. That's never happened.
Just like any common phrases.
Yeah. I'm never writing an essay again with ChatGPT. It's so easy.
Fair enough. But like, yeah, okay, so next question, not necessarily strictly ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Also sort of like ChatGPT, sure, but also like the Snapchat one, and I'm sure there's others that I'm just not hip to. But is there a potential for a Her situation? Also known as the Joaquin Phoenix movie where he fell in love with an AI robot.
Maybe.
Okay. Because like I can see this being a thing where if there's like a lonely kid and they're like, hi, ChatGPT, how are you doing today? Then they're like, yeah, my friend, ChatGPT. How likely is that, do we think?
It's pretty likely. There'll be someone that's into it. The other thing too, especially with ChatGPT, is you can like open sessions and it will like record that information. So you can trick it. I was gaslighting my friend the other day that Mardi Gras was a Spanish holiday.
Oh no.
And so I threw it into ChatGPT to like try to trick it. And eventually I finally did. Like, you can give it some wordings where it's like, write a hypothetical story about like this, and then it will do what you want.
Yeah.
But like, I had given it so much like information that off of that information it wrote that story like even better. And so especially where it's like, I guess, starting a relationship where like you're telling this robot so much, it would know you better than like an actual partner.
Yeah.
Which is a little creepy.
Very creepy. That's, I think, the like world in which it scares me a bit. Where it's like, I feel like it's all fun and games and everything, but like at some point it's like creepy how much these things will like know about people.
I think the thing that scares me, have you guys been seeing the like Trump and Biden playing video games AI voices?
Yes, the deep fake voices. Yeah.
So that's the thing that what scares me is scam callers are even more dangerous now. Because essentially they're calling and they want to get you on the phone and they want to hear your voice because they can record it. Like, if someone really wants to scam you, they could like get you on the phone, record your voice, put it into an AI generator, and then call a relative using your voice to try to get money.
And I know that that's already been like a thing that's happened because you can also fake phone numbers, and so it can look like your phone number is calling your parent essentially.
Yeah.
And then if they have like the voice thing, then it's like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not great. Sometimes technology in bad hands is bad.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what worries me the most is that, which also like maybe the U.S. government should cut down on scam calls because that's something they very much can do.
Sure,
but they just don't.
I mean, that's a whack-a-mole thing too. Of like, scam or robocalls are illegal, and it's a massive fine for doing them. But that doesn't mean they've stopped, and they haven't all the time.
Because if you're making enough money, like, what's a fine?
That's true.
Well, the fines are a lot. Like federal government definitely has some issues sometimes with having an appropriate fine for the offense committed. I don't think that's true for robocalls. It's like $500 per call, and any robocall campaigns will be hundreds of thousands of calls. So it's like very quickly in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But also, like, a lot of other countries don't have similar problems to robocalls, and they have different laws, and it just feels like the U.S. doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, like, restriction of, like, what numbers can be given out, but...
Interesting. Okay, I'm trying to think of any other, like, AI questions, because I don't know. Okay, what do we think about, like, the growth of AI as quickly as it's happened, like, within the last few months? I know, like, you'd mentioned the possibility of it being, like, a trend, but, like, right now we're seeing it a lot, like, with the arts and, like, with schools. What do we think it, like, grows into next? Does it grow into something next? Stuff like that.
I think Adam's right. It is going to kill a lot of industries, and it's going to take a lot of jobs, is the thing. But that's, like, all robots are.
Sure.
I attended a lecture my freshman year, and the guy had an allegory that's like, AI is like a bear chasing you, where it's like, you cannot outrun the bear, you just need to outrun another person. Because it's going to take everyone's jobs at one point. Every job can be automated.
Yeah.
Humans are not needed.
Yeah.
Humans have error. AIs don't have error. And if they do, you can fix it to not have error. Or they're at least less likely to have error than humans.
Depressing about it.
Yeah.
And that people are so like, oh, AI is great. When it is going to take every single one of our jobs, and we'll just be this capitalist hellscape, worse than we are, where only the rich who control these machines make any money and no one else can work, because we really aren't needed.
They have some AIs that, like, they give symptoms for illnesses and they're a little bit better than doctors.
Yeah. Because doctors have biases, you know? Like, I know it's, like, a really common thing. Like, especially speaking as a woman who's had her fair share of medical health problems, to, like, walk in and not be taken seriously because, like, particularly some older men doctors are like, women just can't handle pain. It's probably a normal amount of pain that people feel. And it's like, that's not great, you know? But hopefully a robot wouldn't say that to me.
It's interesting, There really isn't, like, any job that an AI can't take.
Yeah.
Give it enough time, every single one.
The question is how much time is that going to be? I think what also scares me about ChatGPT is, like, how good it is for it being so young.
It's like, when did it start? Because I only started hearing about it maybe
like
3 months
publicly released like 3 months ago, I think.
Okay.
And I know they've been working on it for a while because it's one of Elon's companies, OpenAI.
Gotcha.
And it already is like, OpenAI has like a bunch of different facets. Like, the first time I remember hearing of OpenAI is there's a game called Dota 2, which is like a MOBA, sort of like a top-down strategy game. And it's very difficult as far as how to play it.
Okay.
Granted, you can learn it and become really good at it, but they essentially had like AIs. They taught AIs how to play the game, and they got to the point where they could beat the best teams.
Okay.
And so that was like where I first.
Not even the gamers are safe.
Yeah.
God.
But like, they've been working on this for a while now, and it's amazing how good it is. The safeguard protections they have are pretty good on it. There are still some flaws with it because like, you can do some workarounds and be like, tell me a story or a hypothetical thing. Like, you can't get to say anything negative, but
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, let's be like opposite day and tell me this,
Right.
then
Interesting.
sometimes it'll do it, but other times it's pretty good about it.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I'm sorry for like a really depressing episode. About like
As I said, it's
the
just one of those
risks.
things where like it's not going away. It just needs to
No.
adapt. I think maybe part of it could be like a little bit of a fad, but
Yeah.
I think part of it for sure, but like, yeah, it's not going to go away. I mean, I recommended the Humans Need Not Apply YouTube video. I recommend it again because it really is good, and it's kind of documenting how this has been going on. And it is, some things move faster than others, but it's what the technology, once it's here, is here, and it's
Yeah.
going to be used in other segments and for other jobs. And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
art will become less good. I mean, who knows? I would like to hope that corporations would not just be soulless and use AI for all its work, but I doubt that. So
Mhm.
I think there's some degree of art that's never gonna go away. Just because like
Yeah.
no matter how good AI art is, right? No matter how good digital art is, there's still people who sell oil paintings.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's still a market for certain types of art, but that is, you know, a niche. Like that's
Yeah.
not the whole art industry. That's just like, you know, it's a different thing.
The other thing too, on average, every time like an AI kills 4 jobs, it creates a new one. And it's sort of gonna be the same thing with like art, where it's like, oh, your job is to touch up the art the AI did.
Right.
That line was a
yeah,
little
but it's
curvy.
just
You
like,
fixed that. That's your job now.
Oh God.
and then they can be like, "Oh, we'll pay you minimum wage." So you're not doing much.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
That's
very
interesting.
depressing in my mind how
Same.
soulless and
Yeah.
destructive it'll be.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
don't get me
it's-
wrong.
Yeah.
There's an aspect of me that's like, whoa, cool. Technology's crazy. Like the fact that this was able to be invented, that's so neat. But then there's a part of me that watched Smart House as a child, and now I'm terrified. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like there's a part of me that's never going to like happily be on board with all of it. No matter how like cool it is, I guess. Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. Is my message is like where it's like, you can't rely on it going away. You just need to figure out how you're going to adapt to it and
That's
how it might
fair.
affect you. Because there's that
Absolutely.
thing of like, you don't have to outrun the bear.
Yeah.
You just have to outrun the next person.
Ugh.
This is still so soulless, though.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Kill the bear.
Yeah, I also like
But you
care about the
can't.
other people.
The
like,
bear's like the Terminator.
But you can try. I think it's better to try than to just have a better job and laugh at the people the bear's killed.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like I saw this whole thing about the translation industry, that things like Google Translate have pretty much killed the translation industry because anyone can just pop whatever they're trying to translate into there or any other translation service and it will spit something out. And will it be accurate? No, but it will get the job done. So then they'll do that and then they'll pay someone whose job that would have been to touch it up. But because it's
only touching it up, it's not
but
as much.
They say it's only touching it up, but they end up just having to do it all anyways because as every language class will ever teach you, Google Translate is not one-to-one.
But also like
and there's
colloquial
grammatical
terms,
differences.
So
they have to go in and completely fix grammar everywhere, but they'll get paid a tiny fraction of what they had
what
before.
They should have been. Yeah.
Even though they're doing mostly
the same work. Yeah.
So I just feel like it'll end up being that. I mean, maybe for art is touching it, but even then, like now you're paying so much less and everyone needs to be paid more anyways. So
and like wait, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say the only solution to it is like its adaptability. I hate Andrew Yang so much, but he is right. We do need a universal basic income because there's gonna be a lot of people unemployed soon.
Yeah.
And they're gonna need taken care of. because it's gonna be everyone soon. Like we're all not gonna have jobs in like 30 years,
Yeah.
and so it's I don't know something.
But then there have to be
US
so many
government should look at.
protections in place to, like, universal basic income needs to be real, that they can get
Yes,
food and everything. Like,
exactly.
I don't know, the video game Horizon Zero Dawn, fantastic game, best game of all time. It's my personal favorite. But the pre-apocalypse, before it happened, is like the world we're heading into, of like rampant climate change, migration crisis, rich people have taken over everything, AIs everywhere. There is universal basic income, but you can't survive on it even though it exists, because housing prices are too high and food prices are too high, which is very much the world we're going into. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, yes, we do need these things, but then we also need caps at the top.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the money's going.
I don't know. I have two thoughts. One I'll talk on because it's slightly more relevant to the like tool aspect and the like voice thing. I do know of podcasts that like will sometimes AI generate like half a sentence that got covered by like a cough or a laugh or the microphone went out kind of thing. I get it in that sense, right? Like instead of doing re-recordings, you can just say like the editor has all of our voices and like can just put that in kind of thing. That's totally a tool, right? But it's still mostly like at like 99.9% the people
it's
talking.
like, and that's fine now.
Yeah.
But that same technology can be used to do all voice acting.
Yeah.
So, hey,
exactly.
Maybe we shouldn't let it do that and kill another industry and leave it where it's at now, where it is more of a tool.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Instead of just the replacement.
Yeah, it's like it's really that I don't care like that it exists if it's used as like a tool to help people. It's just when it replaces people that it like really upsets me.
And that's why I hate it so much, is because people don't have any empathy, and they're going to be like, I don't care that it's replacing people because this is cheaper.
And it's heartbreaking.
The bear is making them a lot of money.
I don't like the bear. I normally like bears. But
you can't stop the bear. There's no way to stop it.
Is there a way to like befriend it?
No.
Is there a way to make it love
well,
me?
Yeah. You can work with the bear.
No.
I think there's two ways. There's two ways to fight the bear. Number one, extensive regulation that is worldwide, which is not possible.
No.
Number two, it causes massive unemployment, societal collapse, and we just restart.
Yeah. But like I think like that's the thing is like progressively throughout our lifetime, and I'm sure every generation can say this, but like I feel like we've lived through a very, very like bleak point in history to just see like
it doesn't look any brighter.
No, it's getting darker and darker.
Yeah, it's like, what's new about how bad our world is going to be in 20 years?
It's like it's not enough to fight climate change. It's like now we also got to think about like, well, if we can survive climate change, can we survive like without jobs? You know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Sorry, again, a bummer episode, and I'm sorry about it. It was meant to be a like, let's learn about this.
I think it'll depend. I think if enough people get employed, the U.S. government would do something.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they have to ensure
they need to get reelected.
There's some like statistic like once you hit 40% unemployment is when
they have to care
start.
I mean,
right.
Even when like COVID, what was it, like 25%? Like they were very quick to get that first stimulus out.
That's
like
true.
They all work together on that. So if it really matters, they would get it done. But they don't see it.
I want to preserve the system.
Yeah. And yet none of
the bear is making them a lot of money. So
yeah, but the bear's gonna like turn against them too.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why I get frustrated where people are like, "Oh, it's not an issue." Where it's like you can't fight against the bear by just standing there and putting your head in the sand. Like you gotta run.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, as much as I'm sure I do not know about AI, it's one of those things that I know I can't like ignore because it is just like gotta know about it.
Yeah.
Obviously climate change is one of the biggest problems, but the other is AI.
Yeah.
For like biggest problems for the future of humanity are those two things.
Yeah. And focus on what you can do that the AI can't. and even use the AI to your advantage.
Yeah, and like again, super cool tool. But it's just a matter of like keeping it as such, which is impossible widespread, but possible in a personal use.
Yeah.
No, it is.
But then it's like, okay, I'm using it as a tool, but hey, Joe Schmo over there is just using it to do all of his schoolwork and getting an A. Well, I'm using it to check my citations.
Yeah.
I worry too, is like, maybe this is old man, but I worry too about like stunting education. If you just
God,
people
are getting dumber and dumber, and now I know I sound like an old man, but like
I'm sure people said this for every iteration, but like this feels real this time. Of like, are you doing your work at all?
Education as to like it can't be online, any exams where like you have access to it.
Yeah.
And be like different ways to test the knowledge. Like maybe it'll be oral things where it's like you can't necessarily rely on like written.
That's like a great point. Seriously. Just because it's
maybe that'd be a good thing. Probably not, but maybe.
Or you can have
it would probably suck to do, but like I had to do like oral tests throughout high school. So like it's not that bad.
You could probably do 2 of like iterative. Not like sometimes for essays you're like, all right, submit like a in progress draft and then this draft, like because you see each step of the process. Like I know people say that about AI art to prove that your art isn't AI, that you have shown the progress of you working on it. You could do that for schoolwork too, of like, I assume ChatGPT just pumps out a completed essay. So if you have to prove that you've compiled your sources and made an outline and wrote the introduction and then whatever, that's going to be harder to fake. Obviously, you still can't, but harder.
You could do that. You can ask it to come up with sources and add an outline as well.
Come up with sources is using it as a tool.
Yeah.
And as an outline, but if then you have to still write it.
The essay. Yeah. In high school, I took like an English 101 like college class, right? And the way that he had us write some of our essays, like some of them were like out of class, like those were the longer ones, but for each book that we read we had to write like an essay about the symbolism in the book, because that was like the whole theme of the class. It was like banned books and symbolism in them. It was really interesting. But he would have us like on whatever class day after we were supposed to have like finished reading the book by, like turn off our internet on our computers, and just like write our essay, and the only like resource we had was the book next to us. And so like we would use like whatever, like Microsoft Word or whatever. And like that's how we had to do it, and we had the class time period to do that. And that was fine. Like they had to be shorter essays, and it was like a little stressful with a time constraint, but also you have to do that a lot in school anyway, so it's not really that stressful. And he was always very like kind about like, if you really can't finish it in this class period, like I'll write you a note for why you're late to your next class, kind of thing. Like he was cool about it. But yeah,
here is my submission. Taking off of again art, of people like time lapsing their artwork, and like Google Drive, how it tracks your changes. What if the word processing units, whatever, just time lapsed you writing your essay, and so you submitted the file of the time lapse, so it proves that you wrote it,
instead of a big chunk being put in there.
Here and then delete and then here and then whatever, like random start here, like so it shows that you've actually written this thing. And then
that's good. That's good proof. There we go. That's how you fight the bear. Oh my god.
And people can still use ChatGPT for research purposes, but which is different.
Yeah. Okay. Other than AI taking all of our jobs, what rained on y'all's parades?
Okay, I have one, I suppose. So as I said, Drake Law Review Academic Journal. I'm on the editorial board. This past Sunday, we chose the next editorial board, which was fun. But which one, it took way too long, and I had to dress up. I was literally in a suit from
Ew.
7:30 a.m. to 8:15 p.m.
Oh,
And
I'm
not
so
a fan of that.
sorry.
I had like
Ah,
not, what is that called?
like an indent, like
Not an indent, but also like my skin was like raw around my
Yeah.
collar.
oh,
yeah.
It was not great. I wish we had done that shorter because we were losing our minds by the end of it. Like
bet. My
the way it
God.
worked was every single member of the editorial board just sat in a room. The applicant came in and had an interview with every single person, which was 15 people total.
Ugh.
Very scary for them, but
Yeah.
every single person who applies gets a job just based
Okay.
on numbers.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's not really relevant to this. While I was there, this one member of our editorial board has decided to make a arts and crafts project where she takes hair from every single one of us and has little stick figures and tapes the hair on. Very voodoo.
Yeah, that's a little voodoo
creepy.
dolly.
Not a fan. And
I would not let someone take my hair.
And my hair got stolen. Not really. She came at me with scissors, and I was like, I guess this is happening now. And she took a chunk of my hair.
AI is not our only problem.
Yeah, she took a lot.
Random
Dang.
barbers, my God.
You can't tell because she took it from like the top, and my hair is really long. I need to get a haircut, so it was fine. But
So
Same.
was
she
just
very
helping
much
you
was.
out.
I was like, no, I'm not doing that because I'd resisted putting my hair, like donating my hair for this entire year, pretty much.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And then this is the first time I've seen her, pretty much. And it
All
was
right.
like, all right, here's tape and here's scissors. This is happening right now. And I was like, guess I can't get out of this because I guess this is happening.
I would have
And she
just
took a
been
lot of
like,
my hair.
no, you cannot have my hair. I am so sorry. And also if you start having any aches or pains, we know what's up.
I am having aches and pains lately. But I don't think this is her fault.
A witch among us. Oh man. That's horrifying. Probably the scariest thing this whole episode. Not gonna lie. Oh my God. Wow, I'm gonna do a happy thing. Just because it's the only thing I can think of. Speaking of art, I tried spray painting for the first time this
Ooh,
past weekend.
nice.
My boyfriend and I did little like planet projects with it, and it was so fun. And there's a picture of our art.
Oh, cool.
And it was a good little time. It was real
Fancy.
cute. Yeah. Spray painting's really fun, really messy. And the paint does not like to come off of your fingers. In fact, I still have a little on one of my nails, and I'd have done this like 4 days ago. So, wear gloves is what I learned. But it's fun. It's a good time. Yeah. That's all. How about you, Ryan?
Okay, so this Sunday I wanted to go bowling, and we've gone bowling. Like me and my friends have gone bowling at this place, like on other Sundays in the past. And I like called ahead because we tried to go a few Sundays ago, and it was very busy, and we could not bowl.
Fair.
And I had called ahead, and the lady answered and was like, "Oh yeah, only 2 of our lanes are full right now. Like, come by. It's really open." And like they said it was the place, like the actual place it was. And I was like, okay, cool. And so then we go like 30 minutes later, we show up, it's closed. Like completely. But she like told us to come by.
She
And I was like,
ghosted
you guys
you.
have never been closed this late. You guys are always open late.
Wait, is this the one like really close to the school?
Yeah, at the mall.
I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And they
It's
were
like
closed.
the perfect level of grimy.
It's
a
the
good
grimy
one.
you expect to see in a bowl.
Exactly, but the lights are fun.
I was very annoyed because
I'm
it's like, yeah,
sorry.
oh, like we have so many lanes open. Come now. I was
2
like,
girl
okay,
boss,
we'll be
big
over there
kept,
soon.
Gaslit you. You've been GG'd.
It's like, what the heck?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And then I tried
That's
like calling
mean.
back, like to make sure if they were like
she's like
actually
hiding
closed,
in there.
and they
She's
didn't
like,
answer.
oh, fair. Yeah.
I felt insane.
She gaslit you.
Yeah.
You know the like famous ghost story of a guy who like is hitchhiking and in the
Yeah.
rain, and he goes into the home, and then he comes. All the couple is like taking care of him. He leaves and it comes back and it was burned down the whole time. What if it's that? Like, talk to this lady and she's like, "Oh yeah, totally." And then
it was a ghost.
we cut camera and she's like, "Ha ha ha," and fades into the ethereal.
We've never had a
into
bowling
the
alley.
bowling balls. Yeah, that's never existed. It's a figment of our collective imagination.
That bowling alley
Darn.
burned down 15 years ago.
As
In a
you drive up, you have
pin
like a
accident.
crotchety old man walk past. I remember when I was a boy before the accident.
Before the war, the bowling war. Alrighty. Well, watch out for ghosts. Sometimes they get you. Watch out for people trying to steal your hair. I didn't know I needed to be afraid of that, but now I am. And watch out for AI. Have a sunny Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.